Yes lads, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and today I'm going to bring you guys the Leicester versus Aston Villa match preview. So today guys, I'm going to bring you the match preview for the game on Monday night where Aston Villa travel down to the King Power Stadium to take on Leicester in the Premier League. Before we get into it, make sure a big thumbs up down below on today's video if you consider enjoying this Leicester versus Aston Villa match preview. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't seen my face on your screen before. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you guys could go down below, hit the subscribe button, it would be massively appreciated. And while you're down there, make sure my channel post notifications so you miss any future videos on the channel, just like this one. Follow my social medias, and they'll be down there. Links all of them will be in the description down below. Let me know your score predictions for this huge Premier League clash in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into this Leicester versus Aston Villa match preview. So getting straight into today's match preview, as normal, we're going to start off by talking about our opposition, which is obviously Aston Villa for this week's Premier League clash down at the King Power Stadium. This week I got Jude from the channel Jude's Journey to give you guys the Aston Villa insight, the Aston Villa side of things heading into today's game, the big game down at the KP. I've had him on the channel a couple of times already, so go subscribe if you haven't already. There'll be a link to his channel in the description down below. A big thanks to him for coming on the channel today, but I'm going to hand over to him. He's going to bring you guys the Aston Villa side of things heading into the huge game down at the King Power Stadium on Monday night.
Hello Leicester City fans, my name's Jude Aston, up and coming AVFC content creator, trying to document my journey to the media world through Jude's Journey on YouTube. Make sure you go and check it out if you can. So then, it's Leicester City versus Aston Villa, Monday night football. Aston Villa get back down to Premier League business after their Carabao Cup final against Manchester City. I just want to talk about that a little bit in terms of our current form. Obviously, last time out, we're coming off the back of the Carabao Cup final where we lost 2-1 to Manchester City. That was a very good performance against probably one of the world's best teams right now. They obviously keep the ball very well, and I hope Villa take a lot from that performance and obviously take it into the league, because obviously at the moment the current form in the Premier League isn't the best. We haven't won in 3 games, and our last win in the Premier League was against Watford back in January. So in terms of the current form, what am I thinking in terms of the current form? I think it's not been great, let's put it that way. We've performed very well against top 6 sides this season, but never been able to get a result. I think the prime example of that would be the Liverpool game in November, but also the game against Tottenham Hotspur very recently. We performed very, very well against Tottenham Hotspur for majority of the game and crumbled at the last minute due to a last minute goal from Son. So I think Villa and the team have to take the performances against Tottenham and the performances against Liverpool for the rest of the season, rather than the results against Southampton, for example, where against Southampton we never really turned up, we never really got going, and you could tell that Smith was very angry about that. So I'm hoping not to see a performance like Southampton a couple of weeks ago. I'm hoping to see a performance that was like the performance against Manchester City, where we absolutely put everything on the line, and we need to put everything on the line because there is a run of, starting from Monday, the run of games coming up. Although it's against sides that are very high up in the table, we need to get points in order to stay in the Premier League. So yeah, in terms of current form, it's a bit up and down. We will see this as a perfect opportunity against a Leicester City side that aren't in the best of form. Let's face it, they've dropped off a bit, although the league table does not lie. So we'll see this as a perfect opportunity to go and get a result against Leicester City, and the players will definitely be up for it if they had the same mentality they had against Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur. Right, predicted starting 11. Now this is a bit hard because if we hadn't played the cup final, I'd have definitely gone for a 3-4-3 formation. Played it on New Year's Day for the first time and has adopted it ever since in the Premier League. However, having said that, against Manchester City, we played a 4 at the back formation, played Jack in a central role, Jack Grealish that is, with 2 holding midfielders and then obviously 1 up top. We looked very good against Manchester City, as I've said many times. So it'd be silly not to use that system once again, but you never know what Smith is going to do. I'm going to go and predict a 4. That same formation with 4 at the back. I'm going to go with Nyland. Had a very good performance against Manchester City. So I'd like to see Nyland in goal. Left back Matty Target, of course. Mings, that bullish defender, always a leader. Bjorn Engels, and then right back Frederick Gilbert. 2 holding midfielders, I'm going to go with Douglas Luiz and Marvelous Nakamba. Jack Grealish in the central number 10 role. Left wing, I'm going to go Anwar El Ghazi, right wing Trezeguet, and then up top I'm going to go with Ali Samata, obviously January's new signing. And you mentioned there I'm mentioning about key men now for Aston Villa. Obviously, I don't need to say much about our number 10, Jack Grealish. I'm sure you've all heard about the amazing player he is. Carries the ball really well, caused many problems against Leicester City in the League Cup a couple of weeks ago, and has got a really good eye for goal, can score from outside the box, but also can get that vital assist in and around the box. So yeah, you'll have to watch out for him as well. I think as well, you've got Tyrone Mings in that defence, really leads that defence, that back four, shall we say. And we saw last time out in the league where you unfortunately beat us 4-1, how much of a miss that was when he was injured. We sort of fell apart and lost that leadership in the back four. And yeah, they're the key men in terms of Aston Villa. In terms of Leicester City, the players that I think can cause us problems, James Maddison, I think James Maddison and Jack Grealish are very different players, if that makes sense. They both got different abilities, but they both deserve to have an England shirt. Also as well, Jamie Vardy, if he is fit, I heard something on Sky Sports today about him possibly being unfit, but who knows, even if he's not in the side, it will be a very strong Leicester City side. And also as well, I think Yuri Tielemans can cause us problems. And I talked about the system that we're going to play. If we play a 3 at the back formation, I think James Vardy's pace, James Maddison's style of play will really cause us problems, and especially if you look to get us down the flanks, because sometimes Target gets caught out and the fullbacks can get caught out because of how attacking they are. Very finally, a score prediction for the game. I'm going to go with, I think it'll be a very tough game. I think it'll be end-to-end stuff on the Sky Sports cameras. I'm going to go 1-0 to Aston Villa. Ali Samata to get another goal to help us survive in the Premier League. Thank you for having me on the channel. But yeah, until next time, goodbye. Up the Villa.
So that's it for the Aston Villa side of things. A big thanks to Jude for coming on the channel today. Like I said, everyone, links to his channel will be in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get into the Leicester City side of the match preview. So, Leicester City versus Aston Villa. I feel like I've said that one quite a few times so far this season, and I'm probably right. This is the 4th time these sides would have met in all competitions so far this season. Of course, 2 of them did come in the Carabao Cup, and we all know what happened in that one. We won't talk about the second leg too much, but of course we also did meet in the Premier League earlier on this season, where Leicester managed to win 4-1 and get the 3 points in that one. Of course, Aston Villa did win the second leg in the Carabao Cup, and it ended all square in the first leg at the King Power Stadium. So it's all to play for. It looks like it's going to be a very even game, and it should be a great game down on the King Power Stadium under the lights on Monday night. So with that being said, both managers should have a very good idea of how the other team plays, and it's set to be another entertaining game. It really could go either way. Like I said, we played 3 times so far this season. This will be the 4th, and it's all square. Whoever wins this game will win the overall battle so far this season. So it's set to be a good one, and it really could go either way. But both sides have not been in the best of form most recently, in particular in the Premier League. Last time out for Leicester, of course, we did get back to anyways. That was in the FA Cup against Birmingham City. It finished 1-0 to Leicester in that one, the only goal coming from Ricardo Pereira. And last time out for Aston Villa was, funnily enough, the Carabao Cup final. They took on Manchester City at Wembley Stadium, and they lost 2-1 in that one. And they've also been pretty poor in the Premier League most recently under Dean Smith, sitting 19th place in the Premier League. Of course, Leicester still sit in 3rd place, just about with Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Wolves all pushing at us. So it's an important game for Leicester to get 3 points to have a stronger grip on those Champions League spaces. But Villa really do need to get the 3 points to try and get out the relegation zone and to try and stay up and survive going into next season. So with that being said, it's a really important game for both sides for both reasons. Obviously, Aston Villa at the bottom end of the table, Leicester at the top end of the table, and it's set to be a very entertaining game. But obviously, Leicester and Villa have played it quite a few times so far this season, and I think Aston Villa will set up similarly to the first leg at the King Power Stadium. Of course, that one ended all square. They really did frustrate Leicester. We had to wait late to score the equaliser coming from Kelechi Iheanacho, and I think it's going to be a very similar game to the first leg in the Carabao Cup. So I can imagine Aston Villa sitting back for large periods of the game, just like the semi-final first leg in the Carabao Cup at the King Power Stadium. I can see them sitting back, Leicester trying to get a breakthrough, but they have struggled on that quite a few times so far this season. And I can imagine Aston Villa getting on the counter-attack with the likes of Alisson Mata, Jack Grealish, Trezeguet, El Ghazi. So it could be, it's a rigged game, it could really go either way. It's going to be very interesting to see how each manager sets up. What formation will Dean Smith play? What formation will Brendan Rodgers play? It could go either way. Both sides have played 5 at the back so far this season. The first leg in the semi-final, both sides did adopt a 5 at the back formation. So it's going to be interesting, it really could go either way, but I think Aston Villa are more likely to sit back, go on the counter-attack, and I think it's going to be a really similar story to the Carabao Cup first leg, which obviously ended all square as a 1-1 draw at the King Power Stadium in early January. But getting on to my score prediction, coming off that Birmingham City win last night in the FA Cup, I'm fairly confident that we can back that up with another 3 points on Monday night under the lights. I'm also going to go with another 1-0 win to Leicester. It's going to be a cagey one, it really could go either way. I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy to get on the score sheet. I think this will be the game for Jamie Vardy. Of course, he did very well in the reverse fixture in the Premier League, which seems an absolute age ago in December, but I'm not too confident in my opinion, but I think Leicester will just manage to scrape a win through. I don't think Leicester will be the greatest of performances. It really could be. It could be a tight game. It could be an end-to-end game. It really could go either way. But I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Leicester on the night. So that's it for the Aston Villa side of things. My thoughts on the game and my score prediction. So let's get straight into my 1 to 11. So this is the side I think Brendan Rodgers will go to start against Aston Villa on Monday night under the lights at the King Power Stadium. To start us off in goal, I'm going to go with Kasper Schmeichel. Obviously, he did play in the FA Cup last night against Birmingham City, which was a bit of a shock to me. I thought Danny Ward would have came in, but Kasper's been pretty good so far this season. So hopefully Kasper can come in and have a good game against Villa back in Premier League action. Moving into the back four, starts off at right back, I'm going to go with Ricardo Pereira to start. Interestingly enough, I'm not going to go with 5 at the back formation. I think against Villa we need to get a few more players in the middle of the park, especially if they're going to sit back. With 5 at the back, it's going to really narrow us down with the midfield options and the attacking options. So 4 at the back would allow us to get some more midfield players, bank out the midfield and try and get a Villa, especially if they are sitting back, like I said, which is fairly likely under Dean Smith. So I'm going to go for Ricardo to start right back. I think it's going to be vital with his attacking coming forward, and he needs to be fairly good defensively, especially on the counter-attack with his pace. I think Ricardo's he's going to need to have a good game on Monday night against Villa. Moving into the right centre-back role, I'm going to go with Jonny Evans. Mr. Consistent, hopefully he can have another good game against Villa. Of course, scored in the reverse fixture at Villa Park earlier on this season in December, so maybe he can get the score sheet again. But I think Johnny is going to need a decent performance once again. But Jonny Evans, 100% every game, and he's barely made a mistake so far this season. So I'm expecting another strong performance from Johnny. Moving into the other centre back, I'm going to go with the main man, the Turkish absolute brick wall, Kagler Soyuncu. He's been Mr. Consistent as well. Hopefully him and Jonny Evans can have another solid game defensively. Obviously Soyuncu, not been the best recently, but he's still been pretty good compared to some other players in the team. So yeah, hopefully Kags have another solid game against Aston Villa. And moving into left back, I'm going to go with Ben Chilwell. A much better performance against Birmingham City. I know it's a championship team, but to be honest, Chilwell, he's decent going forward. Defensively, he's not too good though, but I think Chilwell can grow after that performance and try and bring that good performance from Birmingham into the game against Aston Villa on Monday night. Now moving into midfield, to start off in the defensive role, I'm going to go with Wilfred Ndidi. We saw him against Birmingham City, he came off pretty early. Wilf usually plays the full 90 minutes, so maybe he's just been rested, maybe he's picked up a slight injury once again, but I think Wilfred Ndidi will be fit to start against Villa. Of course, we've missed him in the middle. If you can see how vital he really is, especially when he's not playing, we do miss Wolf in midfield. So hopefully Wolf can come back into his usual defensive role, and I think it's going to be very important, especially if Aston Villa are counter-attacking. Wolf could be that man to really stop the counter-attack and really get Aston Villa. I think he's going to be vital in the game. Moving ahead of him, I'm going to go with Dennis Pratt. I thought he was decent against Birmingham City. He's been the stand-up player when Leicester have been pretty poor, really, this whole 2020. I think Dennis Pratt has really been the stand-up player, so if Dennis can have another good game in midfield. Alongside him, I'm going to go with James Maddison. No Yuri Tillemans for me. I think he's been off the pace recently. I'm going to go with James Maddison to start. Last game against Birmingham City in my match view, you can go and check that one out if you haven't already. I mentioned that he's been too deep, and I'm going to mention it again. He needs to be right beyond Jamie Vardy, who's going to start up front, in my opinion. He needs to get there, do a similar role to Jack Grealish, get the half turn, and I think that's his best position. At the moment, he's dropping way too deep, and he's not impacting on the game enough, in my opinion. So hopefully Maddison can get forward, Dennis Pratt to sit maybe alongside Ndidi. Dennis Pratt can come forward a bit more, but Stephen Maddison up front in that free roam type of role. And finally, moving into the front three, so starts off in the left wing position, I'm going to go with Harvey Barnes. Of course, didn't start against Birmingham City last time out. Demarai Gray came in. Not the best of performances against Norwich either, but I think Harvey Barnes is going to be important in this game. I feel that our City's about, we do need someone to take a run, maybe take a shot. I know his shots recently have been pretty poor, but he could release a good one like against Sheffield United. So hopefully Harvey Barnes can have a solid game, and he needs to use his pace in this game. Obviously, he's using his pace, good skill, but his final product is just not good enough, similar to Demarai Gray. Moving into the right wing position with Ayoze Perez, I think he's going to have a very good game against Villa. He's been in and out the team, in and out. His performances at the moment have not been up to scratch, in my opinion. Hopefully Ayoze can have a solid game against Villa. And finally, moving up front, I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy. Obviously, missed the Birmingham City game, missed the Norwich game due to injury, but it's been reported that Vardy should be back for this Villa game. So hopefully Vardy could possibly get on the score sheet, but just to see Vardy back in the lineup will be a good thing, and hopefully he can try and really get that Aston Villa defence. But that's it for the Leicester versus Aston Villa match preview. So if you did enjoy today's video, subscribe if you haven't already. It's a big game. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section down below. I will be going to the games, so get ready for the match day vlog in that one, guys. But you really could go either way. Like I said, let me know your score predictions in the comment section down below, guys. But I'll see you in the match day vlog on 1 July. Hopefully Leicester can get the 3 points back to winning ways in the Premier League. Bye, SPORTSA, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace.